Welcome to the green belt level of the Craftsmaster Journey Level Up Black Belt program. Hey, my name is Joe and this is my Craftsmaster Dice Shooting Journey. Let's make it yours too. The goal of the green belt level is threefold. First, we want to continue learning and training our white through orange belt levels. So in other words, we want to keep on practicing these things so they become constant, they stay fresh in our system, and so we don't forget the important tools that we learned during those levels. Second, we want to start focusing even more intently on the amount of energy that are stored inside the dice. So in other words, how can we throw the dice down a table and have them hit the felt, hit the back wall, come back down onto the table with the least amount of stored energy inside that dice. And we're going to work on that during this level. Third, let's find our ultimate landing zone, our preferred spot that we want those dice to land on the table before they bounce up, hit the wall, and come back down. So where is that sweet spot on that table? The green belt begins with our white belt level warm-ups. And I'll leave a link in the top right-hand corner to that video so that way you can learn what the proper warm-ups are in order to stretch out the wrists, shoulders, and biceps. And then we're gonna follow this up with a whole host of other things. So we're gonna go through different dice grips, different dice sets, and a variety of different drills that you could do to start training yourself to throw the dice properly when you're at the craps table in the casino. So the reason that we're doing all of the review stuff is so that way we can make our dice shooting a constant. In other words, we're going to get rid of a lot of the variable factors. So we're going to put muscle memory to the test and we're going to get a regular pattern down so that way when we do step up to the craps table, everything is a constant, everything is a pattern, everything becomes one, and it's all second nature for you. So make sure that you follow along throughout the green belt level here, and by the end you're going to know exactly what it's going to take in order to complete the green belt level and allow you to move on to future belt levels, with blue belt being the next level in the series. The first true green belt level stuff that we're going to do is a drill that was brought to me by George from CY, and it's called a dice throwing distance drill. This drill actually helps teach you how to throw the dice with the least amount of energy stored in the dice as possible. If you normally shoot from stick left position, so in other words in this training program we're starting at stick left 1, what you want to do is you want to walk all the way down to the other side of the table to stick right 3 position, which is right before that hook, and you're about 10 inches away from the back wall. And you're going to throw the dice towards it, and you're going to keep on throwing the dice until you can get about 3 or 4 times in a row where the dice barely touch the back wall and they come to rest on the felt right next to the wall using very minimal energy. Once you can perform this toss about 10 to 20 times, you're going to step 1 position away, so you're going to go to stick right 2 and you're going to repeat those throws. And once you get it down so that you have very minimal energy in the dice again, you'll take another step away to position stick right 1. And this continues through that position and then into the stick left 1 position where you'll be practicing all of the time. So in other words, you're going to start at stick left or stick right 3, work all the way to stick left 1, each time throwing the dice so that the energy that is required to hit that back wall is so minimal that the stored energy in the dice is minimal, that when they hit the back wall, they're going to come down, they're going to rest, and they're not going to roll all over the table. So that's the ultimate goal for this drill. Our next goal is to find the perfect landing zone, or the sweet spot that we want the dice to land and hit on the table before they bounce up, hit the back wall, and it come back down and rest on the tabletop. This spot that we're talking about might not be the 6 inches away that most people claim it is. In fact, I did a video called The Landing Zone, I'm going to link that in the top right corner, that talks about finding your landing zone. But we're going to develop more about finding the landing zone here in the green belt level. Also in that landing zone video, I show you guys how to make some targets. We make a 6-inch target, a 4.5-inch target, and a 3.5-inch target that we're going to use during our training on the green belt level. So make sure you go back and check that video out so you see exactly how I make those targets, and so you can do the same and continue your dice shooting journey along with me. But we're going to start with that 6-inch target, and we're going to place it at the opposite end of the table, so it's about 1 inch or 2 off of the edge of the table. And that center of that 6-inch target is going to be straight down in line from where we start shooting the dice. So if we're stick left 1, find your shooting position, set up your laser level to point down to the opposite end of the table, and then place that target about 1 inch or 2 off of the wall so that it's right in line with that laser level path. And you're going to stick with that 6-inch target for several sessions now. And your goal is to shoot the dice down a table so that it meets that optimal height that we worked on in the orange belt level, but it lands inside the center of your 6-inch target. And you can do this consistently. So in other words, you know, if you could do this 6 out of 8 times or 7 out of 10 times, 70% of the time you can hit the center of this target, then we can actually graduate to the 4.5-inch circle. And then again, once we get that done regularly, you would graduate onto the 3.5-inch circle. The last goal of the green belt level is to identify our perfect landing zone area. Remember that every day that you go down and shoot the dice is going to be different. You bring different energy levels. You have different table conditions. You have a whole host of things that occur around you that you need to consider. So this is where this part of our green belt training comes actually into play. And this is why it's very advantageous for us to complete this level. So in my landing zone video, I talk about 5 different positions that you can throw the dice. And in the green belt level, we're actually going to increase it to 9 different spots. And if you watch this cutout of the video right now, I'm going to show you how I make the tool that includes the 9 different positions that we're going to shoot to. And what we're doing is we're making 2-inch squares. We'll cut it out really quick. Okay, I have a material cutter here. It actually works really good and it's very sharp. Be very careful with this thing. It will cut your finger very easily. And we're just using the felt for the bottom of my table. My table felt. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're just going to number it now. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. There you go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is how we use that tool now. Position 1 is going to be the spot that we identified as our perfect landing zone, if you will. We're going to throw the dice and try to hit this spot about 2 to 3 times in a row. Once you get that down, we're going to move on to position number 2. Now, position 2 is just a touch closer to the back wall than position 1. And our goal is to try to throw the dice and hit that position at least 1 or 2 times and watch to see what the dice do. If the dice hit that spot, bounce up, hit the back wall, and come to rest immediately on the felt with no energy, they don't roll around, and they stick to the table, then that's going to be our new number 1 spot. That's going to be our new preferred spot, or our new sweet spot that we want to throw the dice to. If not, we're going to go on to position number 3, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to try to hit position number 3 1 or 2 times and observe what the dice do. And we're going to continue this all the way through to position number 9. Now, if you find a spot anywhere between 1 and 9 that actually the dice react exactly how you want them to be, that's going to be the spot that you're going to be targeting towards for that session at the table, for that day at the casino, for that time period that you're shooting the dice. If you're consistent hitting that position and something changes, again, go through this drill here, and that'll help you identify where you need to be throwing the dice so that way you can get these consistent on-axis throws. Now, if you go through all the way to position number 9 and you don't find something that's better, go back to position number 1, and that's going to be your landing zone for the day then. Using this method of identifying your target landing zone is actually the ultimate way of doing things for you. And the reason being is because every day that you go to the craps table and shoot the dice, you're going to have different energy levels. You're going to have different variables that are occurring not only inside your body, but also around you and around the craps table at the casino. Different casinos have different bouncy type surfaces, and this method will allow you to adjust your throw, your landing zone, so that way it can accommodate the table that you're at. It's going to allow you to adjust your throw, so if you have more energy and you need to tone it back a little bit at the table, it's going to allow you to do that and find that area that works the best for you. Also, you know, if the humidity is a certain level, or who knows what's going to happen at the craps table. But this is going to give you that flexibility to find that perfect landing spot, adjust the dice on the go, and hopefully give you the tools that you need in order to throw the dice the best possible. Now, like I promised in the beginning of the video, this is exactly what you need to do in order to complete the green belt level. So the green belt is 20 sessions long, and that's at a minimal. If you feel like you need to go longer than 20 sessions, that's fine, do so. Do it until you have successfully completed each step comfortably to your level. We're going to start off with the warm-up stretches, which you can find in the white belt level. We're going to follow that up with dice grips. You're going to do at least 5 times getting into your preferred dice grip. And then we're going to go through some dice manipulation drills and practice our intermediate sets. So getting into the 3V, the 2V, and a different all 7 set than what I had gone through with the white through orange belt levels. Next, we're going to practice throwing the dice straight down a table using a laser level. We'll start off with the barrel dice, where we'll throw those down a table 5 times each. And then we'll move on to the regular dice using the 5-4-5-4 hardway set. We'll do that for 5 times each practice session. Next, we'll move on to throwing the dice on a table using our height tool and also the laser level. So that we will start with the barrel dice again for 5 repetitions down the table, and we'll switch over to our regular dice using again the 5-4-5-4 hardware set, and we'll do that for 5 repetitions also. Once we're done with our review, we're going to move on to the green belt specific stuff. And hey guys, focus on your breathing here to make sure that you can ensure a normal breathing pattern and find out what works best for you when you release the dice. We're going to start off the green belt training with that George distance drill, where you're going to throw the dice about 3 to 10 times from each position on that drill and try to get it so that it minimizes the amount of energy in the dice. Once we're done with that, we're going to move on to our landing zone training, and we can start off with whatever level you're at. So if you're at the 6-inch level, we're going to do 20 to 50 throws at the 6-inch target level, and we're going to make sure we can get it down there and consistently land inside that target. Once you get that 6-inch target down path and you feel comfortable that you can move to the 4.5-inch target, the 3.5-inch target, or whatever you need to do. Once you're finished with that, we're going to move on to the 9-position drill, and you're going to be throwing the dice down and trying to hit the different locations on that 9-position drill, so that way we can actually hone in on what our sweet spot is, our target zone is for that particular day. If you can successfully complete all the green belt level training material, in my opinion, you'll be in the top 25% of all shooters at the dice table. In other words, you're going to be better than 3/4 of the other players that are throwing the dice at the craps table, and you'll be able to influence the dice better than 3/4 of those people. If you find value in what I'm teaching you guys here, consider leaving a super thanks or a super sticker and donating to the channel. Remember that all money that is made through these videos is put back into equipment for the videos. Also, I have some projects coming up that's going to require a certain amount of money, and these are projects that are going to benefit you guys as craps enthusiasts and help benefit others in the craps community. Finally, click on that link on the right hand side and that'll bring you to a video that YouTube thinks will be best for you. Hey, my name is Joe and this is my Craps Master Dice Shooting Journey. Let's make it yours too.